Hey, Chris Lipe here with how to use a compressor on your voice for singing. It'll even things out, make you feel better, and sound better when you're recording or doing things live. And if you want more help dialing in your voice, click the link below and join my free singing course. I'll help you get the foundations down so that you can make great recordings, perform confidently live, get all sorts of sounds out of your voice you never dreamed you could. Likely, if you've ever done recording, you've run into the problem where you're either too quiet or you're too loud, and you end up getting this horrible sound out of your preamp, this clippy sound, or you're not heard over the mix. This is where compression comes in. We're using a single compression. This is a stock Logic compressor. Here are how these controls work. First is threshold. The threshold is the point at which the compressor actually turns on. I'm going to bring this down to -20, and this threshold is going to start acting on my voice every time my voice gets over -20. But it has to work hand in hand with the ratio. The ratio dictates that for every numeric value I have this dialed into, so let's say 3, for every 3 dB my voice goes up above the threshold, the compressor will only let it go up 1 dB. That's why it says here 3 to 1. So the higher the ratio, the more compression is acting on my voice. Now you can even see it right here as this is sort of taking a real-time recording of my voice. I'm at 7 to 1. The knee is what allows this transition to happen either smoothly or abruptly. As I turn my knee up, notice how it smooths out the transition. Now the compressor is not either on or off after -20, which is where my threshold is set. It is gradually turning on or off. Now, I want to add a little bit of gain. But before I do that, I want to make sure that I'm not clipping on my preamp. So I'm going to take all of this off. I'm just going to bypass this. Hey! Okay, I'm too loud still. I'm going to bring my volume down a little bit, and then I'm going to add my volume back with the plugin. Test, 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 test. See, I'm bringing my overall volume level up. I'm making myself louder and quieter at the same time. You see that? Smoothed out my knee a little bit. I've dialed in my threshold. Still a little too crunchy. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring my threshold down. Test, 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 test. 1, 1. Now, I'm just going to talk a little bit. I want to adjust my threshold. Make my knee come back just a little bit like that. I'm going to adjust my threshold so that even when I'm talking, I'm just talking, the compressor is acting on me just a little bit. And I'm going to increase my ratio just a little bit more. And my makeup. Hey, yeah, oh. You can see how as I get louder, it's not bringing the sound down, it's taming it. Now I can be quiet as I add even more makeup. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can be quiet or loud. And I do not clip. It also has this effect of bringing my voice forward. Because I can be more expressive, quieter, and louder, it's always right here to the listener. Attack is how long it takes the compressor to turn on after the signal passes the threshold. So right now it's set to 15 milliseconds, which is pretty short. But for a voice that can be kind of percussive, if you want to avoid clipping, you do want a pretty fast attack time. If I slow it down, you almost hear this thing happening. If I speed it up, you can see this meter the gain reduction acts much quicker, but you never really want it at 0. Give yourself a little bit of time. The release dictates how long after the signal has gone below the threshold, the compressor continues to act. So if I have a long release time, watch this meter. Long! See that? This will smooth out your approach, but can also result in pumping of your voice. Hey! Right? Because I got quiet there quickly. I want this compressor to be responsive enough to not be acting as much on my quieter voice as it was on the louder voice. It's all a timing thing. Hey, hey, yeah. I hope this was helpful and that you're inspired to try stuff like this in your recordings to even out your vocals, make them more present, and sing more confidently.